Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. In the last episode, Kaito came to the rescue of Frau Kajiro after the latter attempted to commit suicide on account of the walls of the internet and her own past inexorably closing in on her, overwhelming her sanity, and then some. Luckily Kaito chose to help her not only find what happened to her mother, but also in dealing with the false allegations from the mystery hacker or hackers who were impersonating her. And in his act of chivalry, Kaito has also chosen to make an attempt at breaking past the hacker's lock to get to the server network of the Robotory Industries company, with only one slight catch. The only stipulation is to beat the gun barrel system that has been implemented as the lock. Unfortunately, the lock in question is incredibly difficult. The CPU opponent is on a difficulty curve even Kaito can hardly keep up with. The most ominous thing about this mystery CPU is that it takes elements from the supposedly from the 3 dead Kill Ballad users in the past. Or perhaps it's more accurate to say that whoever created the CPU was the one impersonating the dead trio the whole time. But there are other matters going on in the world of Tanegashima Island, or rather off of it, in the world of Tokyo, in the wake of the solar storm that pretty much all but leveled the city at this point. More specifically, the activities of one Misaki Sonomiya, and it looks like Exoskeleton Company has also got self-sustaining, self-contained power systems as well. From the 17th floor office, I can clearly see pillars of smoke rising up from within the city. Here in Aoyama, we got a front row seat to Shibuya's incredible restoration over the last 10 years. I'm sure you did. To my right, there's a group of high-rise buildings in Shinjuku. There are several pillars of smoke rising from that area as well. People are probably rioting at the bottom of those buildings now that laws mean nothing. To them, perhaps. It's complete savagery. How very typical of your thinking now, Misaki. Moreover, it's terrifying. I can't believe that a major megalopolis like Tokyo can turn into this after just 24 hours of power outage. Well, it's surprising what a man-made generated solar storm attack can do. Luckily, Exoskeleton HQ is equipped with its own generator, so it was able to recover fairly quickly. It's also very fortunate that your technology systems aren't designed the same way as Robotory Industries, which means your security is, not subject to the same problems. Although that being said, I would watch your HUGs closely there. Though some precision equipment got damaged, so they're now useless. The prototype HUGs we were testing were not designed with solar storms in mind, so they're all destroyed too. Most HUGs on the market are protected against solar storms. There hasn't been any major trouble just yet, even though there have been issues with them in the past. Issues that you're still dealing with. The office is quiet. Your boss isn't in today, it seems, although I doubt that will last anytime soon, given the situation. Most of my colleagues in the HUG testing department had left in the morning, wanting to get home even if it meant walking. I tried to talk them out of it, but they didn't listen. Yeah, they don't want to be cooped up in an office building 24/7 all the time. Fools. Are they that desperate to go home? Is this something I would understand if I were married with children? Regardless, I probably wouldn't go outside for any reason. Indeed. It's way too dangerous right now. And there they are. The hacked robots. All the guide robots, police robots, and all the others linked to RI's cloud network systems. They're on the move. That's why.
何か見えるか?
Yeah, I had a feeling you would be here, Sawada. Yeah. A man of your stature and your reputation would hardly be caught dead, not being in the thick of things. And there's Tokyo. Tokyo is indeed on fire. Yeah, thanks to that. Thanks to that solar storm. Silently, Sawada, the department head, appears next to me. He keeps his eyes pointed down at the scene playing out below us. He's also taking shelter here, obviously.
新宿の方で火災が。渋谷は驚くほど静かです。
Surprisingly,
渋谷には等身大ロボットが多数配置されていたな。だが目立った被害はない。
You seem, I would like to say uncharacteristically calm, but you are always characteristically calm there, Sawada, so yeah. But the fact that you are calm in this situation speaks volumes.
街全体をシステムダウンさせて自閉症モードに入ったのかもしれん。
If only they knew that a solar storm was going to hit around this time. Oh wait.
21世紀都市の名は伊達ではないな。プロジェクトマルス。それでもここまでは予定通りだ。
The fact that you know that name also speaks volumes, Mr. Sawada. I don't trust
だ
you.
がこれはまだ予行演習に過ぎない。本番は今ではないよ。
Indeed, the true scope of the Committee of 300's nefarious schemes have yet to fully manifest themselves. The Shibuya sky had become spotted with black stains. 3 or 4 of them even. Their mainstream media helicopters flying about, relaying Tokyo's pitiable state to the rest of the public. They look like flies circling a rotting carcass. Very morbid analogy there, Misaki. I close my eyes to avoid looking at such a horrid sight. The city or the helicopters? The scenery that I imagine is the clear azure sky of my home island. Well, if the Committee of 300 had their way, Misaki, not even Tanigashima will be untouched. And we're back with Kaito in Frau's hotel. Still here. And it's still freezing.
そうあと一歩なのになんだよそのチート技はデタラメすぎでしょ
And still losing to the impersonator. Yeah.
こっちがガチでやってんのになんで向こうだけチートなんだよだったらこっちもチート使わせろ
Probably should at that. After all, they've got no whole barred. I lose concentration as I vent my Pokecom. I grind my teeth. My fingers are shaking a little. Yeah, many a fighting game player has experienced those kind of shenanigans. I don't know how long it's been since I started challenging Takasob. I've been playing him non-stop, but because the windows in the room are all closed up, my sense of time is busted. And we got some notifications on Twippo, so we should probably calm down just a little bit. I won't be misled. I've already learned that from the final episode. I will believe and wait. If only that were the case, Akio Sinomiya. If only. Some more crypticness from Sister Centipede. If you could use me for anything, what would you do? Would you fap to me? Something similar? Or... As with all of these riddles, there is only one answer. I would make you my girlfriend. Not really, of course, in the world of reality, because you're a digital avatar, obviously. Nothing in B-list, unfortunately. But in the news section, Kurogane is now on a rampage. Please retweet. I received some shocking news. The woman who is currently causing the terrorist attack, Frau Kajiro, is the daughter of Minami Kogori, the director of the anime Gun Barrel. And that Minami Kogori, aka Minami Furugori, killed 13 staff members of Gun Barrel. She's a mass murderer who's still on the run. If this is true, it'll be Japan's worst crime case. Once again, the Committee of 300's misinformation track is on point. Currently under investigation, but sources say all 13 people died mysteriously just days before the release of final episode. And since then, Minami Furugori has gone missing and has been seen by no one. Therefore, the person who is running the terrorist attack, Frau Kajiro, is the daughter of a murderer and has the blood of a serial killer. Starting to question your motives, Kurokane. After all, I'm more than aware of the fact that the Committee of 300 has molds in every single major organization and enforcement agency. Who's to say you're not a puppet or a pawn in their control? Kurakane's article is pretty bad. Talk about assumptions. It's at a level that he might be sued for defamation. Very well said, Kueo. Very well said. Kurakane-san only comes out with a sound argument. This one is questionable at best. Yeah. Either he's biting into the propaganda bandwagon, or he's not as he seems. The story that 13 people died is true. I was in the police department at the time, so I know. That case was covered by the higher-ups. Conspiracy theory? There's no way that an anime director has the power to shut the police up. True, Kage fish, but the Committee of 300 almost certainly have that influence. But of course, no one's talking about them, because they don't know. But they will. Oh, they will, for better and for worse. At the time I was working at a different anime company, but those 13 people all of a sudden disappeared. There were rumors they fled by night, but I don't think that happened. I can't see Minami Furugori killing 13 people. I mean, she is a woman. She's also being framed. Wasn't there like a message from Minami Kugori, the analyst found in the leaked final episode? From that, it rather looked like Minami Kugori was getting chased by someone. Director Kugori was saying that gun barrel is a brainwashing device and a propaganda. She wrote that everyone died and she ran away to prevent the terrorist attack. I can't think the director killed them. Is what Kurakane saying the truth? Doubtful. Also nice name there. Now, there is a message that Minami Kugori's message is fake. I mean, her daughter Frau Kajiro is running a terrorist attack as we speak. There is something as being framed. Kill Minami Kurogori and Frau Kajiro. By killing the terrorist family, will this blackout will be fixed? Ho ho! Guardian style, you have no idea of what the Committee of 300 are capable of. Boo to you, sir. Boo to you, good sir. I get that you can't forgive the Fugori family, but do not put out a killing notice. You're going to get arrested. If this family was this dangerous, I'm sure that public safety would have marked them. And more nonsense. I think that the police and public safety are confused and can't make a move. In other words, maybe Frau Kajiro was aiming for this timing. Who's the one in the back pulling the strings? Minami Furugori or the guys she is talking about? The latter, hello 854. It's just a typical conspiracy theory structure. They're both made up. They both don't even exist. Shouldn't be a single person in Japan that is trying to subvert the state. That is ruined thought from over 50 years ago. Try telling that to the committee. Maybe subverting the state isn't the goal. Maybe Minami Furugori was killed by the state, and her daughter is coming for revenge. Now who's peddling conspiracy theories, Netlucky? Isn't there anyone who can move in Tanegashima? It looks like Neidhart has something to say about the situation. I don't have any interest in 3D, and Frau Kajiro was a Fujoshi, right? Male otakus and Fujoshis cannot get along. Some people think they're both just otaku, so it'll be fine. How incredibly naive. Fujoshis don't know when to compromise compared to otaku men, and they have far greater delusions than us. I understand that. Sorry, I understand that I have an extraordinary delusional power, but even then I can't beat their delusions, even mainly the sexual ones. Again, you're one to talk. You are definitely one to talk. Do you know how many times I've had to suffer? When you get involved with a fujoshi, they just destroy your pride as an otaku. Every time. Just thinking about it gives me the chills. Don't get involved with fujoshis, you hear me? If you do, you'll just become another victim like me. Whenever they're around you, they're always stripping off your clothes and doing all sorts of weird stuff to you in their heads. That's why you have to stay away. Hmm. Hmm. Part of me can only wonder, yeah, maybe it's best you don't get involved in the situation. Nightheart, you might just make things worse. A lot worse. I check the clock and see that it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Phew, wasn't expecting that. Guess I'm skipping school tomorrow.
12時間近くぶっ通してやって一度も勝てずかよ。
12 hours and not a single victory. This has never happened before, and frankly, it's quite embarrassing. Exactly how many consecutive losses am I at now? Countless. I've never experienced anything like this. Yeah, playing against busted, cheating CPUs has that effect. I'm going to go mad. I exhausted every bit of my FG skill and knowledge I have in order to break his guard, but I just can't win. Takasab has no openings. He never misinputs, nor do mind games work on him, naturally. No matter how much I back him into a corner, he never panics and makes a mistake. If I try to keep my distance, he slowly chips away at my health. Gets too close and he returns fire with his inhuman reaction speeds. Also, given that this is a mecha fighting game of sorts rather than a human fighting game, it's probably best to say that Kill Ballad is probably more akin to the likes of the Armored Core series than it is to traditional fighting games like, say, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat and Tekken. I mean, a little late for that um, realization, but I digress. My only real option is to trade hits with them. So I always get super close to winning, one step away. But that one step feels impossibly far. Feels like I'm getting the upper hand, but I just can't seal the deal. Going to need some tricks of our own if we're going to make that miracle happen. The thing I hate about Takasob is that when he's getting low on HP, he really puts those cheats to work. He strings together actions to combo in a way that should never work. His high-speed sniping attack has no startup animation, so it only takes one frame to come out. Yeah, there's that standing flash kick guile BS nonsense. Plus the move has a 1 frame recovery time too, which means he can fire one shot every 2 frames. Nowhere to run. If it were a human, shooting once every 2 frames would be strictly theoretical. No human player could make inputs with that speed and precision, not to mention frames. But my opponent is a cheating CPU. It has no physical limitations. Hell, it even has perfect aim. Reading inputs, also a problem when it comes to dealing with cheating CPUs. Once activated, there's nowhere to run. Continuously guarding just makes me open to chip damage and eventually death and loss. No matter how much life I take away from him, he always finishes the round like this. What should I do? What can you do? I have no other cards to deal. I hold my head and click my tongue. What can I do? What are my options? Think. Come up with something. No matter how much I struggle to find an answer, my mind draws blanks. Me of all people can't figure out a way to put him down.
私も何度か挑戦してみたけど、
I'm sure you did. Frau is staring at her computer screen as she speaks to me. Frau has decided to find the person who framed her, because they're the only lead that she has to Minami at this
あん
point.
なんどうやっても勝てないでしょ、上皇。
Common sense, eh?
ただこっちもチート使おうとするとバグるらしい。
バグる？
She went on another tangent, dropping computer terms everywhere. I couldn't understand any of it, so I just ignored it. What I could tell is that I can't cheat my way out of this. I have to fight fair. But after fighting it for 12 hours without a single victory, it makes me wonder if I can even beat him. Seems as though I have to take drastic measures to take this cheating SOB down. It's also, we also need to figure out how he's cheating and why. Drastic measures. Well, these are drastic times. There is only one way. A way I personally don't want to rely on. But thou must. If I use it, it'll be like I'm cheating even though I'm technically not. And I'll be able to react to Takusob's ultimate. But the risks of doing so, Kaito Yashio, are very high. But then again, you're already more than aware of that. Hence the problem that lies before us. I really don't want to use it. I despise it with every fiber of my being. I wish it just went away. But I also feel just as strongly about putting down the shitty CPU. That's the only silver lining to this whole scenario. They've put everything into Takasob's CPU. But if we beat it, then we get free access to the server. Yeah, that's the only silver lining we
Kona-chan.
have.
東京の状況って何か変化あった？
完全復旧はまだだお。でも一部で復旧し始めてる。
Probably best to stay away from Twippo for now, Frau. It's not pretty.
東京にいる人もスイポとかアットチャンネルで発言するようになってきたし、
Like I said,
おかげで RI 社のサーバー乗っ取りがこれまで以上に大きな話題になりつつあるわな。
yeah, that is unfortunate.
早くしないとここに警察来るかも。
Yeah, we need to deal with this now. Can't be surprised. Frau's identity and location are both common knowledge. It makes sense for the cops to show up.
そもそも犯人はロボットを暴走させて何をしたいんだろう。
Do you really have to ask that question, Kaito, after everything you've just learned?
しかもコナちゃんを犯人にまで仕立て上げて。
And that is the riddle we have to unravel, isn't it?
そう。
The only way we can get the answers is to beat Takasob. Or could someone be warning us not to get involved any further with the Kimijima reports? No, Kaito, this is all going according to the Committee of 300 schemes.
君島レポートのことは忘れて。これ以上探してはいけないわ。
It's entirely possible. Everything written in the Kimijima reports is coming true. I I need to assume that everything he wrote is legit. Project Mars. If what's occurring in Tokyo right now, if this is what's occurring in Tokyo right now, then Project A2 might also be underway in parallel.
やれることはやるべきだよな。
Yeah, you're going to have to bite that bullet, I'm afraid. As someone who collected the reports up until now,
やれることってなんぞ。
高祖父を倒す方法はあるってことさ。
yeah, it has its consequences, but it is a method.
方法って。
スローモンを使う。
As horrible as my attacks are, they can also be weaponized. As Subaru can attest, even if he doesn't fully understand the nature of it. It was that very same attack that saved our butts during World War I, even if that was a Pyrrhic victory, now that memory is coming back to me. As they are deathly painful, I really don't want to use them, but relying on them is my only option right now, especially if we want to make progress.
でもあれ任意で使えないって。
Yeah, that's the other downside.
ああ、任意じゃ使えないよ。
Yeah, not consciously, but there is a way to trigger them. Again, we're not gonna like it.
でも今回に関しては高祖父が24時間いつでも何度でもチャレンジ OK だからね。やりようはある。
Yeah, that's the other silver lining. The fact that we're not being locked out of the system. It's our only other in.
要はひたすら自分を追い込めばいいんだ。
Because of these attacks of mine, I have to avoid vigorous exercise of any kind. In other words, strenuous physical activity and exhaustion often result in me getting an attack.
とりあえずちょっと外走ってくるよ。
Hopefully we don't trigger one beforehand. That would be bad. From here on out, no sleeping until the bomb goes off. No eating or drinking either. This way I can corner myself into an intentional attack.
なんで。
Of course, Frau is still confused. Frau looks at me, dumbfounded.
なんでそこまでしてくれるん。
That is a good question, Kaina.
発作起きると苦しいって言ってたのに。もしかして私のため。
勝ちたいからだよ。
Yeah, that's Kaito's answer. Since it sounds like she's misunderstanding things, I explain it to her as clearly as I can.
別にコナちゃんのためじゃない。
ツンデレ。
知らないよ。コナちゃんはコナちゃん自身で問題解決しちゃってよ。
Yeah, you should know by now that Kaito Yashio is a selfish bastard.
俺はさ、このクソチート CPU に勝ちたいだけさ。世界ランク2位のプライドにかけてね。こいつを倒さないと全一になった時にもすっきりできないでしょ。
なんという格ゲーバカ。
I think your surprise might actually be genuine there.
そこはお前のために決まってんだろって言うべきだろ、上皇。
Kaito and common sense don't mix, unfortunately.
だがそれがいい。
And again, Frau says with a smile on her face for some reason. Best to let sleeping. I was going to say let sleeping dogs lie, but apparently not. Frau's arm constricts around my neck. I can't breathe. My neck is being crushed. My consciousness fades.
当ててんのよ当ててんのよ
I can only barely hear Frau's voice. Well, Frau, I know what you're trying to achieve. But there really could have been a better way. My breathing stops. At this rate, I'll really die. I squeeze out the last bit of strength I have left in order to tap Frau's arm around my neck.
Give
Frau immediately loosens the sleep cord. I desperately gasp for air. Clearly, Frau was putting her all into the hold as she too is out of breath.
女子に首絞められてどう思った
死ぬかと思った
Still no attack. I spread my body across the floor in an attempt to catch my breath. My whole body felt heavy. I can tell that the bomb is there inside of my chest. But no matter how much I abuse myself, the fuse stays unlit. That's unfortunate. This is actually my first time trying to force it to happen. Am I going about this the wrong way? Probably. I glance at the clock and discover that it's almost noon. I literally just spent the entire night torturing myself. What kind of punishment is this? I went for a 30-minute jog in the middle of the night, the creepy red aurora illuminating the sky. I copied Frau and took an ice cold bath. Sit-ups, push-ups. I might as well be a samurai at this point. Very well maybe. Despite being out of breath, I raised my body and challenged Takashob yet again. I'm getting hungry, and still no effect. And I'm sleepy. My head feels hollow. But I still somehow manage to keep my fingers moving around. My concentration is fading. I miss inputting more than when I first began playing. Earlier I had so many near wins, but now I can't even get close. That's normally how exhaustion works, Kaito. I beat myself up pretty badly, but still no attacks. Maybe there is something we're missing about all this. Which means I haven't been able to win. What if we truly can't trigger the attacks of our own accord, no matter what we do?
今何時
8時
AM or PM?
夜の
And Frau was definitely worse for wear.
夜の
PM it is. Great. Frau's been up with me the whole time, so her expression is as empty as mine. She occasionally shakes her body, probably because she's trying to stop herself from falling asleep. This is depressing in more ways than one. blame it on this room's gloomy atmosphere. I didn't think that depriving myself of sunlight for so long would make me feel so terrible. That's what lack of vitamin D will do for you. Or maybe I got it wrong. It's like a cycle. No wonder shut-ins can't get out of it. The air is dirty too. I'm probably breathing in nothing but dust. Even the PC fan's low frequency of noise is starting to hurt my ears. At least the AC is finally off, thanks to my complaints. It's still cold though. Frau seems to find the cold calming and says she becomes more alert. Well, not right now she isn't. She finally agreed to turn the AC off once she realized my fingers were freezing, making me play worse.
ていうかさ、コナちゃん、昨日からずっとその服だよね。
And the day before, and the day before that, and the week before that too. Frau's still wearing her loose-fitting camisole and short sweatshorts.
いつから私が同じ服を着続けていると錯覚していた。
We're not deluded.
着替えたの？
着替えてない。
I rest my case. Then I'm not hallucinating. Yeah, you weren't.
だが先輩には人のことは言えませんぞ。
ああ、俺も着替えてないね。
Flocking together.
ていうかコナちゃん、髪とか臭そう。
お風呂に入らなくてももう問題ないのだぜ。それが引きこもりの特権、キリ。
That's not how it works.
水風呂には入るくせにね。
誰馬。
He has a point. Since I've suffered through multiple cold baths in an attempt to trigger an attack, I'm actually pretty clean, for the most part.
先輩、死にそうな顔してるわけだが、そんな装備で大丈夫か？
At this rate, we might actually be suffering from frostbite, Kaito.
大丈夫じゃないよ。ちっともスローモンが発動しないしね。ここまで手こずるとは。
It could very well be that there's a factor we haven't taken into account. I figured triggering an attack would be easy as pie. But we still don't know we still don't even know what the true cause of it is, much less the trigger. I catch my breath. Either way, now that my concentration is busted, even if I did trigger slow-mo, I'd lose.
先輩。
Frau's watching the news or something on her Pokecom as she grabs my arm and shakes me.
何？
東京の停電完全復旧は明日の午前中だって。
If that's true, that it would be good news.
その辺がタイムリミットか。
Guess I'll take another cold bath and try to get my focus up. Or just consume large amounts of caffeine. That might not be such a good idea after all. The tub is still filled to the brim with water. I don't have the time to consider whether or not Frau was watching. Talk about an ice bucket challenge. I strip naked and drag myself into the bathroom. The second I hop into the tub, I immediately hop back out.
冷てえ。
Yeah, this is a serious ice bucket challenge. And just like that, I'm wide awake. Well, that certainly worked. After hastily wiping myself down with a towel, I head back to the room. Meanwhile, checking some more notifications. The TV isn't working. Is this from the solar storm? Can't watch the news like this. Didn't think this island would be affected too. My Pokécom isn't working well. Apps keep crashing, but I guess it's better than others. There might be people that had their Pokécoms break in Tokyo. They probably did that, Akio. No new family things, no new news things, and no new... Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't be relying too much on information from Neidhart, actually. I mean, he does have a reputation when it comes to finding things in obscure places on the internet. Yeah. But still. And then again, he might be right when it comes to the likes of Frau Kajiro after all.
これはけしからん。
おいおい、堂々とガン見しないように。
Getting stared at is embarrassing. Come on. I hurriedly toss my clothes back on. But my body is still freezing cold, so I'm shaking.
できればもう少しヌードを見ていたかった。
Denied.
鎖骨を重点的に。つくづくロボ部のメガネがいないことが悔やまれる。
Leave Subaru out of this, please.
変態視点はやめなって。
Does this girl have no shame? Obviously not. Wait a second. If she has no problem staring at me naked, does that mean she's already been to home base? Catch you later on that one, Kaito. Then I remembered that she was going on about being a virgin just the other day.
コナちゃんってさ、処女だっけ？
イグザクトリー。その通りでございます。
その割には堂々としすぎでしょ。
ボケが。男子の裸など薄い本で散々見慣れておるわ。キリ。
And that explains a lot. Probably best not to delve too much into that cesspool any further, Kaito. I've no idea what a thin book is, but I get the feeling it's something dirty.
っていうか、そっち何か手がかりはつかめたわけ？
全然。
Now back to the matter at hand.
あ、そう。
でも絶対に見つけてやる。
Well, good luck with that.
そういえばさ、前にとあるハッカーの話本で読んだことがあるんだけど、どんな鉄壁のセキュリティでも破れる極めつきの方法があるんだよね。
I'm surprised you know about something like that, Kaito.
その話詳しく。
それは別にすごいハッキングプログラムとかそんなものじゃない。難しい技術も必要ない。ある意味で誰でも実行可能な方法だ。それはね、その鉄壁のセキュリティを作った人間に接近してパスワードを教えてもらうこと。
Well, to be honest, that certainly is one way of getting around security, but that's not really hacking per se. Basically, you could get close to them as a friend or a lover or even a business partner. Tricking them is another matter altogether. The closer you are to them, the more often you'll be invited into situations where they'll let their guard down.
案外アナログな方法でしょ。
Yeah, as opposed to just giving you the password straight out, just for shits and giggles.
結局さ、どれだけすごいセキュリティでもそれを作った人間ってのは必ずいるわけで。
think the situation will be that easy, Kaito.
その人間自体はミスもする。うっかりだってある。
Indeed we have, otherwise the situation wouldn't be the way that it is right now.
そっちを責める方がよっぽど楽なわけ。
You say that it's easier, but it isn't always. But then again, that might just be the sort of information that Frau needs to hear.
その発想はなかったわ。でも、もしそうだとしたら、そんなの。
Frau frowns and sprawls herself out on the sofa. She holds her head and buries her face into a pillow. Hope my little story acts as food for thought for her. Maybe. At the end of the day, finding the culprit is on her. You're not quite out of the woods just yet on that matter, Kaito. I'll do what I can. Tomorrow morning is our deadline. Come hell or high water, I have to trigger slow-mo by then. Otherwise we're screwed. With a newfound resolve, I pick up my Pokecom. And try again. Now it is the 22nd. The big day. The day of all days. That is going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite, and when we return, we have to defeat Takasob, one way or another, and get through to the cloud server of Robotics Industries. As always, until next we meet.